Impact, I'm having with me a young lady. I love her so much. I met her at 18. That means now she's about what? 20. And the reason I love her story so much is that she's so young, yet she loves issues of the elderly. Something that is not so easy amongst our youth. She has a lot of passion in taking care of the older people in the society. We have her in studio with us. Her name is Yvette Bonareri. Karibu sana to the show, my dear.
Thank you.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been.
See what changed. We used to do this. Now it's so much has happened.
Yeah.
COVID manenos, that we'll be finding out even how COVID has affected, our lives a little later on in this show. But I just want you to get to know about Yvette Bonareri. Like I've told you, she's got passion for helping the older people. Tell us about this, something that just started with you being a member of the Social Welfare Society and now being a CEO of Ukongwe Bora Society. Tell us what really gave you that interest in taking care of the older people in the society. Is it something that came from your childhood or something in your background? Maybe? Tell us about that.
Okay, so thank you for having me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and Ukongwe Bora Welfare Society came because as I grew up, I lived with parents who respect the elderly and who know that the elderly are really a blessing in our society, and they kept reminding me, you need to respect your elderly people, you need to stay with your grandparents during the holiday and, learn to love them because these are people who are very important to our society. So I remember even when I was in primary school, I schooled in Embu, and I remember this one time we were going to school, and then there was a supermarket in Embu. It's still there, it's called Naivas, and there was an elderly woman who used to stay there. And she used to beg for money, she was a beggar basically. And when we always go, we used to, give her something small. And I remember that day my mom was like, you can buy her something to eat. And I went and bought her chips. And I gave it to her, and I remember her telling me, thank you, Sana Mtuku, and I'm really grateful. And I told her I'm in class 8, I'm doing my KCP this year, and you can pray for me because I know that your prayers they go direct. Yeah, because that was my belief, and it's still my belief.
Yeah.
And she prayed with me, and I went to school, and I felt happy. I was really happy that I did this to her, and I passed my exam, so it worked.
Yeah. She went to Alliance Girls, so she definitely passed this exam.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so wonderful. So it's something that was cultivated from when you were young. I really appreciate your parents for that.
Yeah.
So, fast forward, you then moved to Alliance Girls, and how did this then affect you? Because I'm aware you got into a welfare society club.
Yeah.
First of all, I think we need to really congratulate Alliance for having such a, such a club as it is.
Yeah.
But tell us about this welfare club.
Yeah, so this welfare was called Social Welfare Society. It was in Alliance Girls and Alliance High, our brother school. And we used to visit the elderly people at Togoto Home for the Aged, which is a walking distance from my school. And we used to go there every Sunday. We used to help them clean their dormitories. They had 2 workers. The whole home had 2 workers. And you can imagine how the elderly people need so much to be done because, they're very vulnerable. So we used to clean for their dormitories. We used to cook sometimes. We used to read stories for them, and just spend some time with them. They used to love it because sometimes they get bored and they just want some young people around to interact with, and they really
and even tell you stories about how their lives were.
Exactly, sometimes it'd be like, sasa mzee, ulifikaje hapa? And they'd be really glad to tell us their stories, and we'd share some good times, and I love them.
Tell me something about the ones that you actually met in Togoto. When they were telling you about their stories, did it come up to you that in their youthful times they actually had great lives before they ended up there?
They did, definitely they did. Yeah, I interacted with a couple of them. A couple of them didn't know English or Kiswahili, so we wouldn't communicate, but for the few that we were able to communicate with, they had some and they are very interesting.
Yeah.
They're actually very interesting. You'd never tell. Yeah.
Wow. So now, what are some of those achievements that you were able to have, especially once you are in such a welfare? Because from your story, at least at some point you even rose those ranks, and you are right at as the chair lady. You know, what are some of those things that you achieved while you were there?
The chair lady had some really great responsibilities, and I remember I joined this club when I was in Form 1, and when I reached Form 3, I became the chair lady. So you had to go through an election, and people from the society to elect you, and I was elected, and I was very happy. I took from the person who was the former chair lady. Her name was Wayego, and she was really gentle to me and kind. She was even the one who helped me, adjust to being chair lady. And so I became chair lady, and I used to organize for these visits. I was the one who went for these meetings. You read about the oldies bash, which we have some end of the terms, and we used to organize. The chair lady was actually the one at the center of that. And it was some great time. We'd go, dance with these elderly people, put some music, interact with even the boys from Alliance High, clean for them, of course, and just interact with these elderly people.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's going on even now.
Yeah, it should be going on, but due to the COVID, I think the interactions are decreased. Yeah, they're minimal because of the COVID.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now tell me how you got out of school and into thinking about now having this Ukongwe Bora go on past your school days.
So I remember I talked to my dad, and I was like, I'd want to help the elderly people, and not only from Kogoto, just the elderly people countrywide, And because I know this is a gap, there's a gap here, because people tend to forget these elderly people. They look out for the children, the pregnant women, the people with disabilities. But sometimes people will be like, So I remember talking with my dad, and I was like, I'd really want to continue with this service that I'm doing towards the elderly people, because this is something I really love and I enjoy, and I don't want it to just be in school. I want it to be past school, And some of my friends were really encouraging, and I remember even in Form 4, I used to sit with my friends, and I'll be like, I'm going to start a welfare society. I'm going to start an organization that will help the elderly in future. And they used to motivate me a lot. They used to tell me, you're good at this. If you're able to handle the club in school, you can be able to take further responsibilities. And that motivated me, and I knew this is something I love deeply, and something that, God has given me the power to do it, why not do it? Because I'm an empowered girl, I can do it, and I'm not afraid to take my dreams further. So that was something that I'm really grateful I was able to do.
Tell me something, you're now in campus?
Yes.
Are you doing something related to this?
No.
What are you doing?
I'm doing performing arts and film, technology. Yeah,
I'm sure there's a way you're thinking of how to fuse that.
Of course.
Is it to take the stories of these elderly people to the world?
To mainstream the stories, the challenges that these elderly people face, and be able to mainstream it to the world.
Through films.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
And performing arts,
Okay. So let's talk about Ukongwe Bora. You went on and registered it?
I did register it. I actually registered it in December 2019, and the date that I got my certificate is 19th December. It reached 2 years. 2 years on 19th December. So we are at 2 years.
So what are some of the activities that you'll be able to do as Ukongwe Bora?
Okay, so we've been able to visit elderly people, but of course, due to the COVID,
it slowed you down a bit.
It slowed down, honestly, but we are able to visit even.
Let's talk about a normal time.
Okay.
Like no COVID or now us learning to live with COVID. I think now the world is opening up a little bit. So what are some of the activities you'll be able to do as Ukongwe Bora?
Okay, we've organized visits at homes for the elderly. We source for items for these elderly people's items such as clothes and foodstuffs. We've shared stories of our elderly people, our elderly members through media to be able to raise funds for them and for them to get help. And we've also drafted a bill which is called the Parents and
I'm even coming to that bill. That's why I'm just quiet.
Yeah.
Because it is something that really touched me, and I was like, hiya, she's even gone to a bill. Even before you tell us what it's called, how did you even get to think of because I think here you were thinking about doing something extra.
Yeah.
And it actually came in the times of COVID, right? When you were not able to visit the homes, but you're like, we still have to have these people helped.
Yeah.
So I'll help you with that name,
Okay.
because I've done my research. It's called the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Bill of 2020.
Yeah.
So just tell us the process that went into drafting the bill, and what the bill actually entails.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have friends who are lawyers, and I'm lucky enough that my twin sister studies law. Yeah.
Oh, there's another her. This is
There's another
interesting.
me, yeah.
I'll make sure she's in the next clip.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough, so I got help from them because I wanted to do something that will be legal, an act which will have to help these people. And this bill actually operationalizes Article 57D of the Constitution. And this article gives effect to the state and the family are given the same obligation towards helping the elderly people. So it literally operationalizes the Act, the 57D of the Constitution. So in the bill, it's given that homes should be established, elderly homes, and till this year, 15th June, is when the Kirinyaga home of the elderly was launched. The government has never had any home of the elderly until this year.
Wow.
Yeah, so all these elderly homes are funded by organizations, churches, but none
that is from the government.
Exactly.
So this bill is going to
Yeah.
push the government that these homes have to be there.
to build more homes. More homes for the elderly. Also, it gives the maintenance of these parents by their children or people who are benefiting from their inheritance. Also, the establishment, the medical care, it's giving provision of medical care for these senior citizens. It also gives procedure of trial for people who have not followed this, the procedures for taking care of the elderly.
In short, from this bill, if you don't take care of your parents well,
Exactly.
you
have
people
to go
in the okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
People even get jailed, right? If they don't
exactly, you
take care
have
of
to.
these people.
And recently there was an elderly man who sued his son. His son, he said his aliuza shamba to educate the son, and the son came to Nairobi for 14 years. They've been looking for him. He hasn't helped them, and him and his wife are suffering, and the other child is not able also to help them. Wapo now, and then he sued them other son, and so we are waiting to see how that case will go.
Yeah.
Because
But generally, just like you said, as you are beginning this, is that you are taught, and it is true, that there is a lot in helping the elderly people. And we have so many people who are either against their parents or even their grandparents. Someone saying, oh, my parents did this to me or did that to me and all that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you want to hold on to it so much, you don't want to do anything to your parents. But remember, they gave birth to you, I mean, without them, there would be no you.
Yeah.
And, just being able to reconcile these differences would be such a great thing, because there is a lot that we get from the blessings of our parents. Sometimes there are things you're going through, but it's your parent who even prays for you.
Yeah.
There are, things you're struggling to buy on your own. which perhaps already your parent has,
Yeah.
they could just give you a little something to help you out. So I think also, could we have some advice, for the younger people on how they really look at their parents? That's why I loved this bill,
Yeah.
because I saw parents and senior citizens,
Exactly.
because we tend to come to town and then just forget about our parents, and they call you and you're like, Mom, now what is it she wants?
Yeah.
This is someone who actually took you to school. You are everything you are out of what they sacrifice. That those times they will not sleep because you're sick or something. No matter how bad they are, find a way of reconciling, at least to a level you can talk, and even to a level you could help. It doesn't quite help so much if you can help everybody else as parent and leave you alone.
Yeah. Think about it.
Yeah, think about it, Yeah. So let's talk about how COVID affected your operations as a society.
It's affected because the elderly people are really vulnerable towards the COVID.
Yes.
The COVID, and most of them, you don't want to put them in the danger of them getting infected with COVID.
Yeah.
So we had to reduce our chances of meeting with the elderly. We had to reduce visiting them. Yeah, we had to reduce the interactions with them, and that's why I sat down and so because I can't be able to visit them a lot as I
You
used
find
to.
a way in which the government can also help.
I did not, but we found a way. Now that we know what to do when we go visit them. We have to at least double mask. We
Yes.
take the measures
Okay.
for the COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, to make sure that they're not infected.
Now there's this meeting that you were called by the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection. Actually, when we had the UN celebration of the International Day of Older Persons, that you were invited to. I'd like you to just give us the experience that you had from that meeting.
It was a good experience. I got to meet a lot of people who are also championing for the same thing I am, and most of them were actually older people, not young. I was actually the only youth, and I
You were
was
even shocking them, like, hi,
yeah.
what
They
is
were
it
like,
with
who's
her?
this 19-year-old? I was the youth representative actually.
Yes.
And I was able to address the legal measures that face the elderly
Yeah.
and everything, the challenges that they face. And this was good because I got to get more contact with people who are doing the same thing that I am,
Wow.
helping the elderly. Yeah, even though most of them were old, I'm a youth and I work with youth to help the elderly, and we are gonna grow, and we'll grow the
Which I like,
youth.
because if it's done by older people,
Yeah.
then this is facing out. But when you have young people come in to sort this out, then as you're making it even more normal for younger people to get into that space, then it's going to really protect their interests.
Yeah.
And I really love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So now, for those who love what you're doing, if I may just ask about the funding,
Yeah.
How do you get to fund this project, so that also our viewers out there can also be a part of this?
Yeah.
Someone might want to support what you're doing. How have you been dealing with the funding or getting what you take to the homes?
The funding has been one of our biggest challenge because we've not been able to get funding. We've gotten little funding, which comes as food, clothes, and we appreciate that because you can contribute anything that you're able to, and these are things that we've taken to homes, we've taken to Malindi, to the homes in Malindi. And so funding has been a really great challenge for us, but we are hoping to be able to get more funding this coming year so that we can take more programs into actions. Yeah, because we have a lot in mind for these elderly people. So you can contribute in any way you like. We appreciate any little donation that we get. Yeah, so that has been a really great challenge. I've gotten a little help from people that I know. I talk to them and I'm like, we are doing this, we need your help because, and they've been able to come through. But yeah, now it's time.
Even our leaders,
Yeah.
we talk to them.
Yeah, it's
okay.
time for us to get more funding because we have a lot of programs in mind. that we have to take action to do them for these elderly people, and it will be well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For someone who'd like to be a part of Ukongwe Bora, just to help you fund some of the activities that you like to do, going out to these people, reaching out to them, do you have maybe some M-Pesa pay bill or something, a way in which they can get to send you something?
Yes, we have an account number,
Yes.
and we have an account with Absa Bank. So you can use the pay bill option, go to the business number, which is 30 the business number. Then the account number is 204-3388-757. 204-3388-757. That's
Okay.
the account number.
I'll be asking Eric, my cameraman, to actually have that on the screen, so that our people can get to just see it
Sure.
and be able to have it. Eric is actually saying you repeat it,
Yeah, but we
he will
can
put
have
it
it.
down there.
Yeah,
He will
we
put
can
it
have
down
it
there.
on
So
the
just
screen.
repeat it.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
just repeat.
Let me repeat it. So the pay bill is, you go to the pay bill option, the business number is 30. Then the account number is 204-3388-757. Yeah.
Nice. So we'll have it down there, right,
Yeah.
for them, so they can be able to help. Thank you so much for sharing with us your story. I'm gonna give you a minute to just talk to the youth out there, especially going by the experiences that you've had, and just what word would you give to them, especially now?
I'd say there's a lot of blessings, you get from doing things that you don't actually know. Like I feel like some of the blessings I've gotten come from helping these elderly people. The tiny things I'm doing are coming as a huge blessing in my life, and I'm not able to know. And I want to tell every youth person that, and especially for me, I'm a young girl, and an empowered girl is someone who knows her strength and isn't afraid to embrace them. Don't be afraid to embrace your strengths. Actually use them for your power, and you have so much power in you as a youth, as a young girl, as a young boy. So, take action in whatever dream you have, even though it's small, just do whatever you can, and everything will work out. Yeah.
Change the world.
Change the world.
I love what Gandhi said, that if you cannot help 1,000 people, help one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just that one thing that you do is just going to change the world.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This has been Impact, where we bring you stories that impact your life, and we'll continue to give you many more like this one. And of course, I'm encouraging you to like, share, and subscribe.